You know, I'm probably one of the few people today that's actually going on the PA interstate and is looking actively for state police. I really hope I don't have any warrants out for my arrest. And what would I have a warrant for? Being too handsome? Good morning, everybody. So I wanted to get this beautiful view behind. So we're in Hershey, Pennsylvania today, and we are visiting the PA State Police Historical Museum. Now they also have a memorial right over here, which we're going to check out probably on the way out. But it's a museum that is fairly small, but the history of it and the importance of it is very large. So we definitely wanted to check that out. But yeah, when I say we're in Hershey, Hershey's like right over here, Hershey Park. And the road that we had come on when we went to see Zoo America, exact same. So we're gonna head in right now. As far as I am aware, according to the website, masks are still required even if you're vaccinated. So, you know, it's a small museum, won't have to wear it long. But yeah, let's go check this out, come on. So here they actually have a giant chapel. I'm not exactly sure what the water tank's for. I'm sure it'll be understood, but the police academy is actually right over there. So there could be some importance to that. I am.
All right, it'll
Yep.
be $7.
Okay. And I wasn't sure, the website said it. Do you have to wear a mask in the museum or?
It's up to you.
Cool. All right. Now, do you know what the huge water tank right behind is for? Is that for the academy or?
I think it's for both of us.
Okay. Here's state police all the way back in the day. Look how old that is. I couldn't imagine being pulled over by a state police that looked like that. That's crazy. So I'm guessing this is one of the very first squadrons going through training and then finally coming out of it. So this opened in 2006. There's some pictures of it being built, finishing the chapel. That's really cool. Those hats, those almost look like, I don't even know, cowboy sort of times. Start to see all over. Look, Bobby helmet. The arrest logbook. Hopefully I don't have any relatives that are on here. So this is the uniform that they used to wear. And here is early handcuffs. Look how crazy they were. In the 1920s, they still look like this. So here we have 181 Riot. I've been reading a little bit of this, and this is sort of about the strikes that were happening. This is in 1910, and down here, this is actually in State College. This is in the 70s. Looks like there were also anti-war riots. Here we have Philadelphia car strike, and union strike. So a lot of strikes happening. And when we get over here, we've got some of the training, shows some of the people training in the video, maybe the training video that they use for future trainees. We got shotgun training there. First graduating class of women, all women at once. On August 1st, 1940, 150 men underwent training at the Indiantown Gap. Okay, so I guess that's that whole thing. Yeah, I'm not sure why they had an entire class of women in 1972. Maybe, you know, it was important to have just women. I don't know. And here you can see the bed that they would use, probably their training area, gloves and handcuffs and the hat. And just a bunch of different training classes, and that looks like the old police academy, the one they used in 1958. They don't even know what they're getting into. I mean, to be fair, neither do I. So, and here are all the old state police uniforms of the state troopers. And here we have the Call of Honor. This is something all state police recruits have to recite in order to graduate. You got the rat patrol here, a rat hole. You know, I'm sure there's a clever reason for it, but I just imagine a little rat hanging out there with a little Mountie hat, you know, saying, let's go get him. So it looks like these were used for a rodeo. And that says in the 1930s they started doing like a rodeo with clowns and stuff and doing insane stunts on these two. Here are all the rosters for it, which is very, very interesting. And this one's called the Atomic Clown Car. And it actually, if you look right there, it had water that would shoot out the front of it. And flames, it appears. Flames? That doesn't seem to be a good idea. But this is actually a modified Ford Model T. That's pretty cool. I think this is the first Model T I've ever seen in person. And here's their old banner they used to have for the rodeo. And I guess the state police would help with that. Although I couldn't imagine many veteran police officers wearing one of those caps to look like a clown and this being their uniform. I just, you know, color me surprised. I just couldn't imagine it. And this is a trick saddle that they would use. I'll just use the real saddle. Come on. You don't have to use a trick saddle. Over here we have the Pennsylvania State Patrol uniform from 1937. It honestly looks a lot more modern, other than maybe, I don't know, I think it's just something maybe with the belt. It just doesn't look as realistic, perhaps. Over here we have some of the same, but this is from the 1920s. Obviously a lot older. Wow. This one looks more era specific. This one is from 1906 to 1909. So I'm surprised they went with the larger hats. They seem like they went back in time a little bit, because this looks almost like a military hat. So here's the 666 lottery fix. So Nick Perry was a gentleman who in the 1980s was the mastermind behind a lottery scam. They rigged the Pennsylvania lottery for about $3.5 million. And I guess the way they did it was they had exclusive access to the lottery balls and machines. So they made a fake set of lottery balls. They decided to weigh all the balls except numbers 4 and 6. And they got away with it for the most part until they didn't. And in 1981, Perry and Plevel, his buddy, were convicted on charges of criminal mischief, criminal conspiracy, theft, and rigging a public contest. Oh, so this is really interesting. In 2000, Lucky Numbers, a movie starring John Travolta, was filmed in Harrisburg, and it was loosely based on the events of 1980. So if you want to, you know, find out more about this, because that does sound interesting, watch Lucky Numbers. Oh, these are the actual 666 balls. Wow. So these are the actual rigged. Whew, that's crazy. And there's the whole police report and a copy of the movie. So if you want it, just come in here and, you know, don't punch the glass, please. I don't want to get kicked out. Michael Stewart III, in memory of. He died in 2017. Wow, he was only serving for 3 years. He was on patrol at the intersection of Route 711 and 271 when his state police SUV collided with a garbage truck. And his partner survived that. Wow. So this gentleman received a Medal of Honor. He was on I-81 in Hanover Township, and he came across a crash involving a passenger van and a tractor trailer. And even though the van was billowing with smoke, he entered the vehicle and removed all 7 victims. That's pretty insane, considering moments later the van exploded. So Trooper Dean Kirklow was presented with a Purple Heart. He was there for a violation of a protection from abuse order, and when he entered, there was a fight with an actor with a gun, and he shot his wife as well as the officer who tried to get the gun away from him. He was given a Purple Heart for his efforts. Both the trooper and the man's wife survived, but the actor killed himself. So this is Trooper Lucinda Hawkins. She was presented with a commendation medal for outstanding performance of duty. She risked her life in 1987 while assisting in the rescue of an occupant from a fiery tractor-trailer accident on PA Route 283. The vehicle exploded shortly after Hammond pulled the occupant to safety. Wow, she was actually in the first cadet class to include women, so that's pretty cool. So here's some info from United 93. So this is actually a flag that was flown at the crash site of Flight 93. It was presented to the department from the federal government in recognition of the state police's dedication and hard work at the site. I remember when we were there was a large museum about all the stuff that they had gone through, fire and police. And this is a flag with all the names. I always love seeing this. It has all the names of everyone that died on 9/11. They also serve who only stand and wait. I like that quote a lot. So during the 1918 pandemic, these are 8 troopers that actually died from the Spanish flu. That's pretty nuts, considering we're in a pandemic now ourselves. First member of the Pennsylvania State Police killed in the line of duty in 1906 at Florence, Jefferson County. So I wanted to look at this real quick. This is actually the lightweight jacket they used to use. And here are some of the hats. Imagine this one was for the cold times. Probably used up in Erie. And boy, oh boy, what is this? This is a ceremonial helmet. This is a commissioned officer's hat. That is a Riot helmet. This is a female winter cloth hat. And this over here is a white garrison hat. Very, very cool. So this is all about the horses in the Pennsylvania State Police Department. You can see them training. And down here you have a baton, spurs for the horse, obviously, horseshoes, and saddles. That's a pretty small saddle that does not look comfortable at all. And obviously saddlebag, which of course you need. Over here, this is actually really interesting. So these are the old radars that were used. So if you look at this, this was a window-mounted radar, and this is one from the 1970s. That's a bit insane. Each time the unit is set up for use, the operator must conduct an internal calibration check using the tuning forks. Wow. So you have to check it each time to make sure that it's going to be accurate. I imagine if they didn't and they caught somebody, that those results would probably be thrown out. So that's a 45 right there. That's a 357, and a 38, and a 40 caliber. So these are all the different guns that were used. And here are a lot of guns. It's an AR-15. There's a Remington 12 gauge down there. I cannot even imagine using this one. And up here, these are carbine rifles. Very cool. And here is the Commissioner's Cup that they used. Here's something that was given to Private Bertner for being one of the best shots in the world. In 1929, he was the individual high scorer at the annual state police pistol team. That is so cool. Look at that knife. I guess that part right there would be good for cutting rope and stuff like that. And there's the gauges and everything. That might be around Delaware with all the ice and everything, who knows. And here is in honor of all the canines. So in memoriam, you have Omar, Hershey, Baron, Icar, Cubco, and Kratos. Very, very cool. Rest in peace, doggos. Wait, dogs get medals? That's incredible. Dogs get medals. Who would have thought that a dog would get a medal for just being a dog? I'm kidding. It's much harder to be a dog nowadays than it was back in the day. So here are a bunch of models of all the different helicopters they used, all the different vehicles, motorcycles, patrol vehicles. There's some of the trooper ones. And this is an old-time breathalyzer. Now they just have you, I imagine, I've seen it on movies, of course, they just have you blow on something that looks like one of those temperature guns. If they took this out, you knew you were going to be in trouble, especially if they had to pick it up. They had to know you were drunk or something. And I'm going to guess this is like a substation that's like halfway through to the next station, but I like to also think that it's a sandwich station because, you know, patrolmen got to eat. What are you going to do, not feed them? Come on, that's ridiculous. So here are the regulations of the Pennsylvania Highway Patrol. I wonder if they had to bring that with everywhere they went. I would imagine probably, because their life is pretty much on the highway. Maybe at the end of the day, but you could forget a lot of stuff. Man, imagine going the whole highway in this thing. First aid kit. Look how old that first aid kit is. I'm glad they're not using it. It does look in good quality, though, for how old I imagine it is. And here is an entire exhibit to diversity, not only with black, but women. They should have been included the entire time, in my opinion, but I'm glad that they are included now, and probably for the last 50 years at least. I have no memory of this, but this is for 2 troopers who were killed on the line of duty, and apparently a manhunt that happened in 2014. I have no memory of this at all, and it went on for several weeks, and finally he was brought to justice. But if you want to read more about that, you can look up that name. Don't pay attention to that face, he doesn't deserve it. But maybe a lot of people in Pennsylvania remember it. I have no memory of this whatsoever. And it was only 7 years ago, so I'm getting really old now. So this is all about the Camp Hill prison riot. This is in 1989. It was a state correctional facility. It was ravaged by inmates for 7 hours. Wow, look at all that. I guess this is one of the old actual cells from that prison. At 9:35 p.m., a 250-pound propane tank exploded, causing damage to the facilities and prison fencing. Wow. No deaths during the 3-day ordeal. The final cost estimate was over $14 million in taxpayer money accrued. And in 1990, they decided that the reason for the riot was overcrowding and understaffing. Look how destroyed that is. I wonder if we can actually still go there. I'll have to check that out, because that would be very interesting. But since they have the cell here, I imagine the whole thing's destroyed. And we've seen everything. Also, we're the only ones in here. We came here right when it opened up, and I imagine that wouldn't have changed much. So we're going to head over here. The museum does not end just from what is inside. You also get to see some of the old state trooper cars they actually have here, which is pretty cool. This is a 1995 Chevy Caprice. You can see inside and everything, and this is number 16. Wow, this is pretty awesome. I'm not sure what year this is, but I know it is a Dodge. It's Patrol Car 7. You can see, now you can't see in the back. As you can see, you can't. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the like wagon looking way of the car, but still very, very cool. Now this looks really interesting. This is a 1991 Ford Crown Victoria. It's probably one of the most famous police vehicles. And wow, if you were riding around in this, you meant business. The only problem was, as you can see, there is no divider. If you were in there, you might have problems. Because if they weren't handcuffed properly, that was not going to end well for you, most likely. Look at the siren on top. It's ridiculous. That reminds me of the intro to Naked Gun. And here we have one of the older ones sporting the Pennsylvania state colors, as far as I'm aware, to this day. Blue and yellow. It's a 1973 Plymouth Fury 2. I'm going to try and say the name of what it's known as. I don't know. I like this oversized siren. It looks ridiculous. It's like a little hat. It looks like a little hat for like a really cool car. And this one, I don't know, it looks more modern, even though it was much, much later. Wow, this is very, very cool. I wonder if they probably do still run, I would imagine, because all of their license plates are antique vehicles. Now, as I said before, over there is the State Police Academy. And you are actually able to get a tour of that. They need 2 weeks advance. I wanted to come and see this, so I might come back and see the academy at some point. Wanted to find out a little bit more about what that tour is all going to be about. Next, we're going to be headed over to the Wall of Honor. And this is, I believe, displaying all the names of state patrolmen who have died over the years. And, you know, it's a beautiful view. I know you saw this before, but I just don't think anything gets over this view. It's just absolutely lovely. So correction here, these are actually officers who enlisted. These are not officers who died in the line of duty. But man, these are a lot of troopers who enlisted. Hold up, is it double-sided? If it is, this is gonna be insane. Oh my gosh. It is double-sided. There's even more than I thought. Now, I'm honestly not sure how they're putting the names down. This whole side is empty, and this side right here, yeah, they're not in like a specific order or anything. They're just sort of everywhere. So I'm not exactly sure what order they're putting these in, but it does look like they're probably going to have to make more at some point once these get all filled up in the next few years. So yeah, I think we got a good overview of the essence of the museum. Like I said, it's very, very small. I was filming, so it took a lot longer, and I kept like going back because sometimes there was music playing and I wanted to avoid copyright issues. But I thought the entire thing was really, really cool. I think you could go through it in probably about 10-15 minutes. And the cost of it was $7. So in my opinion, it's a little much. But if you're really into police and you know, some of the history of the state police, it's very, very cool. And you know, like I said, it's extremely close to Hershey. And that means two things. One, you can stop here very quickly if you're going to Hershey and you're a family that enjoys state police stuff. And also there's 5G here. So you guys know how crazy I am about 5G. There wasn't a gift shop or anything like that. I think most of the cost probably for upkeeping the place comes from admission tickets. And you know, it's been an hour. I'm still the only one here. So I went through the whole thing in an hour, just for the record, but I was recording, obviously. And I had to do multiple takes because I kept messing things up. But yeah, beautiful view. I believe it's free to see the Wall of Honor. You probably just walk up to the cars, nobody's going to know. But you know, I felt better paying for it and everything. I would say my full opinion, if you're into this, it's very, very, very cool. It's totally worth it. And it's a quick stop, you know, like you don't have, it's not somewhere where, it's not like the Smithsonian or the, you know, the PA State Museum where you have to, you're gonna spend like 2 hours here. This is like 10-15 minutes easily. You learn a little bit about it, get a little bit of a history, and you go home. Or you go to Hershey Park and, you know, eat some chocolate. But yeah, overall, I would say very, very, very fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Just want to thank you guys so much for watching. You know, we'll see where we're at next week. See you guys later.